Okay, so for the next activity, we're going to kind of move away from tracing. We're going to start going back to using some of the drawing tools to build some skills. As always, when you open up the program, make sure you initiate the program by drawing a random line segment. All right, so what we're going to ask you to do, in this blue rectangle, this is pretty much your workspace. And in the workspace, any drawings you might have in there, what we're going to ask you to do is click and drag and highlight everything in your workspace. We don't want you to delete anything that you've drawn because we want to just see your progress, but we're just going to ask you to come over here, use the move icon, and just click and drag it off to the left, right, or wherever you want. Now, sometimes when you move, if ortho is turned on, it only allows you to move perfectly horizontally or vertically. You could just turn that off and just move it over. Okay, so now that we've got a workspace, you're able to zoom in a little bit. You can actually see the grid. So this grid, these dots, they could be set at any increments you want: quarter inch, half inch, eighth inch, millimeters, whichever. So when we give certain assignments, we want you to be able to understand what the drawing is about and what the numbers mean. Anytime you see numbers, those are dimensions, and dimensions show size and location. Anything like offset, well, that shows you the distance between these lines. All right. Now, how to use the grid? Well, the grid is kind of a nice tool, and so is Snap. And Snap allows you to only move in the same increments as your grid. So sometimes this can be really helpful. Other times it might get in the way, and that's why you're allowed to turn this off and turn the grid off too if you want. So what we're going to do is have you actually draw this shape, and we'll start with the outside perimeter. So there's enough dimensions to get us to where we need to be, and you can sort of deduct by the numbers that you're seeing what this line segment length is. You're really not even going to need that. So how this is going to work? Well, you're going to pick any random start point, and you're going to come up here and click on the line, and make sure you pick a color that you can see. And so before you start, make sure you turn on Snap, because we always want to start exactly on one of these grid dots. That's going to help us out. So we're going to go over here, we're going to click on the line icon, and we'll pick, and you can see how the cursor is only moving on any grid dot. Alright, so I'm just going to pick a spot down here. Okay, now once I've done that, it's set. So you can see that blue number 0.0. This is perfect. Because this is actually going to become our start point, and then we can navigate over the length of the first segment, which is 5. So I'll go to my start point, and I'm just going to hover off to the right until I see the number 5. That's almost too easy. That becomes your new start point. It sets it to 0. Well, we want to travel up 3.5. So I'm just going to hover upwards until I see the number 3.5. And it becomes 0 again. So I'm going to travel over until I see the number 3. Okay, and let's say I don't know this segment length. I'm just going to press Enter or Return. I do know this segment right here is 2. So I'm going to go back, pick on my start point, and hover upwards until I see 2. Now I could zoom in, travel over, and then back up. Okay. If you want, push pause in the video and come back after you've drawn that perimeter. Okay, so by using that same set of skills, well, our grid, again, is set to 0.5. And look at this, the offset here is also 0.5. So without even knowing the line segments on the inside, well, you can actually use the grid to navigate around. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, once you're done, press Enter. Okay, that one was pretty simple. Now we're going to go backwards here. We're going to look at this triangle with a circle. So there's a lot of things going on, and what you need to know about a triangle and a circle. You're going to need to know things like the radius or diameter of the inside circle. You're also going to need to know the center point of the circle, and things like the base and height, just like you would in math class to figure out area. And all that information is here. So using the same set of skills, we can sort of figure out how to make this. Well, we know that the base to the center of the circle is 2. That's going to tell us that this length is 4. We know that the height is 4 inches. So we'll travel over here. Same thing. Pick a start point. I'm going to travel over until I see 4. Okay, and that's done. Now, because this is a center point, I know that that's 2. I need to find the center of this line segment. And using eSnap, that's going to give us the center point. You can actually see that yellow triangle, and that's the midpoint. And I'm going to travel up until I see the number 4. Okay, and at that point, with the line segment still on, well, I can connect to this endpoint, press enter, line, endpoint to endpoint. Okay, there's our base and height. Now, the one thing we have to figure out is how high up is the center point and how big is the circle. It's a 0.5 radius and it's 1.5 inches up. Well, knowing that the grid is every 1/2 inch, that's going to be 1, 2, 3 dots up for the center of the circle. And that's all we need to draw a circle is the center point. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to travel up 1, 2, 3. Now, if you feel like that yellow triangle is getting in your way and leading you to the midpoint, come down here and turn off eSnap and try it again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's my circle center. What is the radius? The radius is 0.5. Okay, once we're done with that, delete the center line and you're all set. Okay, we're going to let you work. Make sure you save your progress and we'll post the next activity shortly.